I mean, Mike Elko and his staff, at the onset of this recruiting cycle, Jason and I felt, and even Billy felt it was imperative that they reestablish themselves in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And they can big time start checking that box off. And there's more coming from DFW.
Hello, friends, and welcome into TexAgs Rewind. David Nuno, Eric Cassars there at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. And to my left, the stat genius, Ethan Jones. Ethan, you were comparing the top teams in the country, and we're obviously A&M's ranked number one, but there are some other metrics that kind of tell you exactly where they are.
Yeah, so I compared the top 4 all SEC teams. In batting out of those 4 teams, we were the second best. In pitching, we were the second best. But overall, statistically, when I crunched the numbers, we had the best stats when you look at overall stuff. Because Arkansas, great pitching, or mid batting. Tennessee, great batting, mid pitching. Kentucky, all over the place. But A&M was the most consistent, both in pitching and batting.
Ethan, great stuff right there. Eric, favorite part of the show?
Favorite part of the show is when the Aggie track team took over. Like Conor McGregor once said, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over.
They did take over. That's not on the rewind. You'll have to go to TexAgs.com or go check out our YouTube page for the rest of that. On this show, though, OB, he's good. Especially this morning. He was on one, right? Trisha Ford, they're good. She's good. She was great. We had Ryan Brauninger on the program, Recruiting Country. He was pretty good. I'll give him props. Kendall Rogers breaking down that baseball team. That and more. It is the Rewind. Our awesome production team put up some stats for us, so I'm going to read a couple of these for you, and we're going to just digest it. The Aggies are off to their best start since 2015. Yeah. It's kind of expected, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully the best season ever. Hopefully. A&M now has won 13 of his last 14 games, and one of those games, they almost came back and won.
Yeah,
South Carolina. A&M drew 7 walks and 16 hits. 11 different players registered hits. Lavalette logged his first 4-hit game of the year, including those 2 home runs, one of them 468 feet over the train tracks.
Yeah, I was almost hoping that his second home run would get down and just go off the wall for a double, because that's all he needed to hit for the cycle, right? But of course, you'd rather have the home run than the double. But I was saying he's going to hit for the cycle because he got the triple early.
He did. Teddy Burton, Hayden Schott each logged their 10th and 15th multi-hit performance games of the year. Are you familiar with this guy? He bats number 3. He's kind of new to the team. I don't know if he gets along with everybody.
The Mississippian?
His name is, help me here, Braden
Montgomery.
Montgomery. 20 home runs on the year.
Yeah.
Huh.
Boy, he's good.
Yeah. He becomes the 5th player in program history to reach the 20 home run plateau in a single season. Oh, by the way, a lot of baseball left.
Yeah, we're barely halfway through.
Yeah. Jack Bell got into the game, hit his first home run.
Saw that.
As a freshman. The Ags had 7 strikeouts. Brock Perry recorded a lone scoreless outing. Jet Johnson making his first career appearance on the mound for Texas A&M. How about that?
Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think. What is the guy who's I think it was him, the really good left fielder, Sorrell.
Yeah, Caden Sorrell.
Oh man, heartbreaking. He had the bases loaded. If I got it right, I hope I do, because I wasn't keeping notes. But he just bashed one that I thought was going to be a bases clearing double, but the center fielder made a hell of a play.
3 more midweek games. Oh, I'm sorry.
By the way, Air Force not bad.
No.
They just beaten 2 in a row over Dallas Baptist before playing A&M.
8th in the RPI, top 25 ranking in all 4 recognized polls, number 7 in Softball America, 11 in one other. D1's got you at 12. Just I know that rankings aren't a big deal, but it is a celebration of what you've done so far with much more to do.
Yeah, I think we're heading in the right direction, right? There's, like you said, though, just a lot more we can do. I'm excited. I feel like we figured some things out. I'm hoping this last weekend of being on the road and kind of getting our mojo back. Obviously, when we play in front of the 12th man, we have a lot of success, and it's figuring out how to, just bring the 12th man with us in our insides and get ready to play games on the road.
Let's talk about Trinity. She got honored recently, SEC Player of the Week honors, 5 of 8 there in Tuscaloosa, and obviously had the 3 for 3 with the double the other day as well. Just her impact this weekend.
Yeah, huge. I mean, we needed some of those seniors to step up this weekend, and they did. Jazz has a good weekend, and Julia really had a good weekend too. If you look at it, she's hit behind, hitters, runners on base, sack flies, and Trin just had a tremendous weekend. And I pulled some of them into my room after game one, and we just kind of had a little bit of a chat of, a coming to Jesus, let's call it, of, hey, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing, and they talked to me about some things, and I felt like we were in a really good headspace moving forward. And so, Trin, she had to play first base. She's been our DP for most of the year, but Coco tweaked her hamstring a little bit, so I didn't want to risk her as we kind of move on to the end of the season. So she just stepped up like a senior does and, kept it simple. I think that's the issue, is when they try to make things too complex in the box, and it's really be on time and hunt a good pitch.
Let's talk Marcus Garcia for a bit, because another guy in the trenches to add to an already solid start.
Well, I think first, you're right. But secondly, Mike Elko and his staff, at the onset of this recruiting cycle, Jason and I felt, and even Billy felt, it was imperative that they reestablish themselves in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Mm-hmm. And they can big time start checking that box off. And there's more coming from DFW, okay? That had to happen. And that's a huge credit to, obviously, Mike Elko, but Tony Gerard-Eddy now being a full-time staff member, and his connections, especially in that South Dallas area, have paid dividends. And, Marcus Garcia as a player, and another thing, it's a DFW kid. It's a DFW kid from an elite DFW program. So that ripple effect, just the eyeballs on that, is going to help you, perception-wise too. But Marcus Garcia, if you think about him as a sophomore, whenever he got to start playing at Denton Ryan, he was a tight end at 215 pounds. Now he's 6'5" and 265, with plenty of room to start getting into that 300, 305 range, and actually can project anywhere along the line of scrimmage. Usually when you get undersized offensive linemen, you think they're going to grow into a tackle. But they like Marcus Garcia's versatility, and they really like his power. He's an elite thrower of the shot put, so that is a good indicator of his strength and explosiveness. And you could potentially see him down the road playing center. He's got that skill set, and he's got that mind for the game. And I would think that Adam Cushing, these guys that they're going to get in this class have been specifically targeted by Adam Cushing. And we have gone over so much the offensive line class in the state that it was going to be very interested, we said, to start combing through this and see who's getting the big pushes. Out of all these offers they've got out in state, who would they accept commitments from? And we're starting to understand that better as the weeks go on. And look, they're on the verge of continuing to add to that group, we believe. And once they do that, if they go on a run here on the offensive line, another coach, so we got to start talking about his recruiting prowess that was an unknown coming in, is Adam Cushing.
Do they have the best lineup in the country? Best top half of the lineup in the country? Where do you put their lineup against the rest? Because there's some really great offenses out there, but I'm just curious, in the grand scheme of things in college baseball, where do you put them?
Yeah, I still think the instant impact power, just top to bottom, is probably a little greater with Tennessee, but they're really close. The thing about A&M, and I kind of wrote about this today, the thing about A&M that's really interesting is I thought the Saturday game against Vanderbilt was very illuminating, because, Jace and, Braden both went 0 for 6, overall went 0 for 6, and yet A&M still was a hit away from run ruling Vanderbilt. And so the fact that those two guys can go 0 for, and you're still getting that kind of offensive production, is actually a really good development. If I'm Jim Schlossnagle, I never want my star players going 0 for, but if there was one night you're okay with it, it's that one, because that shows you that, hey, you may not want that to be a recurring theme, but you know what? If it does happen randomly, then you've got guys that can pick you up. I think Jackson Appel's done a really nice job. Havey Shot, obviously. I actually really like Travis Chestnut at the bottom of that lineup. I think he's kind of a jitterbug type of player who just relishes the moment and loves to make things happen. Teddy Burton, we mentioned this coming in the year, but, he's been around the block. He's got a lot of college at bats, and so I think maybe Tennessee may have more kind of like wow up and down the lineup, but A&M might actually have the better just balance and overall lineup. It's close though.
How about Chris Cortez and this version of him we've been getting the last few times we've seen him out there on the mound?
Well, my first suggestion would be to knock on wood. My second take on this would be that Max Wiener's done a really nice job with him. Chris is one of those guys that, mentally he's got to be very tough because it cannot be easy. The last 2 years, we all kind of expected Cortez to be like that dude, and he was not that dude. This year, gets off to a little bit of a slow start, and he did not deviate from a mental standpoint. He stayed locked in, and that's really paid off for him.
Eric, tell the people what to do, and then I want you, Ethan, to give the stat about how long it took him to do it. Ready, go.
Like, subscribe, share with a friend, rate, comment.
Yeah, at the end it kind of went down.
slowed down.
I feel like
Man.
5 seconds probably.
Yeah, but he slowed down at the end.
slowed
At the
down.
end of the rep, he just couldn't finish the
Yeah, I thought he was
express.
gonna get like 3 seconds.
It's
That's
always
impressive.
like, comment, subscribe, and I fumbled.
The end's
And you
hard.
fumbled saying the word fumble. We'll
I
see you
got
next
nothing
time.
else to say.
I don't know. Show's over. See you next time.